more on these attacks, we're joined by Michael Maloof, a former Senior Security Policy Analyst at the Pentagon. He joins us now live from Virginia. Good to have you on the program today. Now, Russia's investigative committee has classified the shootings as a terrorist attack. If the motive is not yet clear, how do we know? What are the hallmarks of terrorism in the early stages like this?
Well, from that particular region of Dagestan, it has a history of terrorist attacks. It goes way back, even to the period around the time of Chechnya, when Vladimir Putin was the prime minister, and he absolutely leveled Chechnya. But Chechnya is right next door to Dagestan. Dagestan, where this attack occurred, along with Chechnya, have always wanted to be part of what's called the Caucasus Emirates. It's a predominantly Muslim area, as is Chechnya, and you have fundamentalists there who adhere to the Wahhabist Salafi doctrine of more fundamentalist Islam. Many of their young people actually fought in Syria for years, joining ISIS and Al Qaeda, and many of them have wanted to return. And this is probably what you're seeing now. Some of these returnees who have this wartime experience, who are now creating this tension in the region once again, and attacking civilian targets. That's one of the premiers of this type of activity. Some of them, interestingly, because they did not want to return to Dagestan because they knew there would be death awaiting them, actually went to Ukraine and settled in the Odessa region.
So just to be clear, this is all speculation at this point, of course, but what you're saying is that these young shooters possibly are creating a new Islamic State cell in Dagestan? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, they've adhered to the idea, to the concept of a Caucasus Emirates. The area of Dagestan is in the Caucasus, northern Caucasus, just above the country of Georgia and Azerbaijan. And this is a long simmering issue, and for years they've been involved. Look, the guys who were involved in the Boston Marathon attack came from Dagestan years ago. So this Dagestan region has a history of Islamic difficulties and issues and civil war. They want to create this emirates, and they're going up against local authorities. And the local authorities, in turn, are clamping down vigorously. And it has created concerns among Human Rights Watch and all of these groups on just how the authorities have taken care of it. But what you have here is an attempt for potential insurgency. And the timing of this is very intriguing. It's occurring now as we're seeing Ukraine picking up. And I think Russia feels that there's a connection between what's happening in Ukraine and this latest attack. And that being that there's an effort and initiative in counterinsurgency, and that's what this is, to undermine the authority and stability within Russia as part of the effort to topple the regime itself in Russia.
Can you talk more about that connection? Why would this sort of Islamic State influence group, if that's what we're talking here, once again, this is speculation, why would that have something to do with the conflict in Ukraine? Is it because Russia is distracted with the conflict in Ukraine, or is there a more embedded grouping there that you're talking about?
It's probably designed to create instability within Russia at a time that that the Ukrainian situation is occurring to distract Russian authorities, so that as to split their focus, not just on the war in Ukraine, but also internally. And so we're probably going to see there's allegations coming out of Moscow now that this probably was CIA directed, because you had a lot of Dagestanis as well as Islamists out of Tajikistan who are based in Ukraine. And that's why there's concern that this is all being timed to coincide with what is probably going to be a real Russian offensive coming up here within the next few weeks.
All right, Michael Maloof, lots to think about. Once again, this is all speculative. We're not sure what the motives are of these shooters, so we will wait to find news there. But really appreciate the insight that you have. Nonetheless, Michael Maloof, thank you.
Thank you.